Hello and welcome tankers to another episode of World of Tanks with PR154, and we're here today on Pilsen with General Hans Krebs of the Raw Clan in his Concept 1B. It's the Tier 9 American premium heavy tank that you can't get from the tech tree, you can't get from the premium shop. The way to get this tank was for players who'd completed the rank mode in 2021. It's a very unusual looking tank. We'll just switch to the old free camera. It has a very small turret, which small turret means small target. Very small weak points as well, which when it's using its excellent gun depression in a hull down position, it's incredibly difficult to dig out with AP or APCR munitions. You can see even the lead up to this driver's hatch and the wings of the turret here are also very well sloped, so inviting those bounces. The General is obviously well aware of this, and he's positioning his tank in a very, very difficult to dislodge manner. There's nothing that's going to be going through that tank when shot at from this position. Worth noting, however, the hull is otherwise quite weak, so if you do manage to catch one in the open, by all means try to take advantage, because if it ducks behind any sort of hull down protection, there's not no guarantee that you're going to get another opportunity to punch it again. So the enemy appears to have made a fairly weak play for these factories. Normally you'd see a bit of a clash of heavy tanks in this particular area, but so far it appears they've only got the IS-3 and the Lerva, who's unfortunately for them faced against two Tier 9 and two Tier 8 enemy heavy tanks. So they've been able to take the initiative quite well with this particular engagement, and the Lerva is not while it's quite bouncy frontally, it's really not round. It's really not renowned for its DPM. It hits for 320 alpha. It fires a shot every sort of 10.5 to 12 seconds, depending on how you've got it equipped. So survival time of that Lerva is not going to be measured in any great length of time at this point. There is a bit of support and crossfire coming from the AE Phase 1, however, and I imagine the Lerva is really thankful for that assistance at this point in time. General Hans Krebs trying to take advantage of the AE Phase 1 having fired and shut down the T-44 teammate, but unfortunately had not moved quite quickly enough in this particular instance. But no matter, like in these situations, you can rationalise eating around if it takes an enemy gun out of the game, which they probably need to be doing as best as they possibly can, given they're already 2 tanks down and flagging in terms of their hit point differential. You can see the AE Phase 1 making excellent use of cover there, so the better course of valor here would be to try to shut down the IS-3, which in a 3v1 engagement like this, there's it's going to be fairly obvious who's going to come out on top in this particular situation. So it appears to be a bit of a 2-speed game, while General Hans Krebs' team has been able to assert its will on this factory area. The enemy medium tanks in particular have been able to fairly well dominate this side of the map. So it's really going to be down to who can clear the flank first, and then sort of take the initiative in dictating the balance of play. You can see various tanks have seen some writing on the wall. The M41 Bulldog and Scorpion G are moving to a defensive posture. Batchat 25 TAP is also moving to play from the rear in anticipation of an enemy push. That's not necessarily how General Hans Krebs sees it, and he's moving more towards the enemy rather than away from them in this particular instance. So scores are 5-all, hit points roughly even, if slightly against General Hans Krebs' team. So we spot a Enemy type 61 trying to begin that push on the cap, but it's a dangerous prospect at the best of times. There's a lot of open ground. Pardon me, a lot of open ground that needs to be covered, and it's very easy to be sort of spotted and shut down by a determined defender. But nevertheless, the enemy STG is making its play, and the general eats around, but bounces it and puts one in return. It's quite threading the eye of the needle against the ELC, even 90 there, and he takes his 4th kill of the game in the process. Scorpion G tries to make its push as well, but unfortunately he's now in a position. He is now one shot for General Hans Krebs, who promptly shuts him down. Enemy tanks are attempting to get the wraparound on him, but there's a fairly vicious crossfire that the STG finds himself in. It's now a rather awkward engagement between the General and the E50. While the E50's armour is frontally is very good, that still the lower plate still remains quite vulnerable. Waffenträger 4 charges General Hans Krebs, puts a round into him, and General Hans Krebs switches to high explosive but bounces the round off the gun muzzle, which is an occupational hazard when firing high explosive in its current form. There's so many HE rounds I've fired just to nil effect because I've hit the end of the gun tube. But not to worry, General Hans Krebs takes him down for now his 7th kill, so he's well on his way to the beyond the Top Gun badge at this point in time. We're still playing carefully in anticipation of the E50M being in that position. But very wasteful shooting by the E50M and excellent shot baiting by the General in this particular instance. I guess that's one of the advantages to being an early adopter of a tank with an unconventional armor layout, where you have the chance to sort of bring the tank out before people work out exactly what to do with it when they see it. But bully to General Hans Krebs for that one. Let's go take a look at the results page. Very convincing victory by General Hans Krebs of Raw Clan in the Concept 1B. Quite a well-deserved victory in that we saw just how far they'd been behind, both in just a deficiency of guns as well as hit points fairly early in the game. But they'd recovered well through aggressive tactics in clearing the heavies out of the warehouses, and then moving around to protect their own cap circle from an overwhelming enemy push that could have been. So we've come away here with Ace Mastery, as well as two of the Battle Heroes medals between High Calibre, where you've caused damage that's at least 20% of the hit point pool of enemy vehicles, so extremely well done there, as well as the Top Gun badge for killing at least 6 enemy tanks, which in this case it was 7, just systematically shutting them down with that 400 Alpha gun. He's caused nearly 5,800 damage, a little bit of assist damage, but that's okay. That's not necessarily the role of this tank, and having blocked 1,560 hit points of damage. You could reasonably expect that value could be a lot higher if it was a game that had a lot more hills and that sort of thing, where it could sort of use that very well sloped armor and small turret to fantastic effect. Looking at the team score, we have a very convincing top placement by EXP and damage, so well done to General Hans Krebs of the Raw Clan. And if you'd like to see your replay featured on World of Tanks with PR154, please get in touch over Discord or any given other link below, and we'll do our best to fit you in. In the meantime, take care out there.